In this video, we'll be replacing the rear caliper, rotor, and brake pads on a Chevy Express 2500. First thing you're going to want to do is take that cover off. Those are just plastic, so be careful removing those. And then you're going to take the lug nuts off. You want to pinch the brake line. This is a special pinch tool. It's made out of plastic so you don't do damage to the hose. Then you're going to remove the brake line from the caliper. That's a 7/16 banjo bolt there. Make sure you have a pan underneath there. The brake fluid is going to come out of that. Then you'll remove the caliper. There are two 18mm bolts. And once he has those out, he's going to put that down into the pan for any remaining fluid that's in there, so it can leak into that pan. Then he's going to use some penetrating grease to spray on there to get that caliper or the rotor off, and you'll see that he had to use a mallet and a pry bar. Sometimes they can be tough to get off. You're going to sand that rust off of the axle, from around the axle, and spray some anti-seize on there so that you can prevent that from happening next time. Install the new rotor. Spray some anti-seize on the mounting bracket as well. Install the brake pad brackets, and you can spray a little bit of that anti-seize on that as well. Lube the piston and the caliper. This will help with noise, and then you're going to slide that bracket back into the caliper. Push it all the way in and make sure that those pistons have been pushed back all the way. Install the new pads into the caliper. And then you can install the caliper back on the rotor. Then you're going to install those two 18mm bolts. He's putting a little bit of thread lock on there so they don't back out. And then you're going to tighten those down to 148 foot-pounds each. Then you're going to torque those guide pins down to 53 foot-pounds each, and those are 17mm bolts. You're going to remove the cap out of the new caliper there. And you're going to replace the banjo bolt. You usually want to use a new one every time you do that job. So put the new one in. It comes with a copper washer. Make sure you put that in. And you're going to tighten that to 32 foot-pounds. Remove that pinch plier from the brake line.
Let up. Push down. Down. Let up. Up. Push down.
After you bleed the brakes, you want to spray that off, and you can just use water. Install the brake line bleeder cap to keep that protected. Then you're going to add brake fluid up to the max level on the side of the reservoir. In this case, we're using .3 for this vehicle, but always check your maintenance book to see what your vehicle uses. You're going to reinstall the wheel, and you're going to tighten the lug nuts in the pattern shown. And those lug nuts will get tightened to 140 foot-pounds each. Then you'll install the center cap and be careful not to tighten those up too much or they can break, and you're all set.